Please welcome Kamala Harris. Can you feel? Can you feel? Can you feel it? Can you feel the joy rising in here?
I can't.
That one passed out. Did you hear that one at the end? This is what we've come to. This ain't who we are, is it? Oh my gosh. I saw all these leftist hens just sitting back there, and they were nodding to everything she said. It didn't matter what she said. The 3-minute word salad, it did not matter. Oh, you can feel the joy. Oprah clearly nonpartisan in this. I mean, she did endorse Kamala a month ago on the stage and gave the best speech at the DNC, but shh, she held her feet to the fire. Let's hear some of her words. Some are saying this was a word salad.
Yours is a story I hear around the country as I travel. And in terms of both rightly having the right to have aspirations and dreams and ambitions for your family.
What would be specific steps to strengthening the border?
So it's a wonderful and important question. You know, my background was as a prosecutor.
So to answer Justin's question, now that bill has gone and hasn't passed, will you reintroduce that?
Absolutely.
Well, I'll play some of the word salad later. I mean, this is amazing. It's profound. Now, Peggy Noonan, who was a speechwriter for George Bush, she is not a Trump fan. She's not like a Trump hater per se, but she's not a Trump fan, and she's made that clear for years. She's Republican light, if you will. Anyway, she's a Wall Street Journal columnist for probably decades. She wrote, Kamala Harris is an artless dodger. She goes on, and it's really insightful and really stabbing at the heart of what she's doing and how she's so vapid on her policy. So I'm going to ask you a few questions. Also, Kamala said she's a gun owner, and if you break into her house, she'll shoot you.
When you said you have guns, no, at the debate.
I'm a gun owner. Tim Walz is a gun.
I did not know that.
Girl,
if somebody breaks in my house, they're getting shot.
Girl, yes. Shoot him up.
I hear that.
Probably should not have said that.
But when you say
rat-tat-tat, girl, I'll put two caps in that dog's ass. Woo! Well, if you read Reason magazine, you would know this already, but a 2008 brief that Kamala signed, she argued that a total handgun ban, all handguns, was constitutional and strongly suggested the Second Amendment does not secure an individual right. So she wanted to take away your handguns. She wants to take away your AR-15. What is she doing? Defending herself with a shotgun? I mean, I don't know, but according to her, she's for mandatory gun buyback. That means the cops show up at your door, the government shows up at your door, and they take away your guns. They'll give you cash, but they will take away all your guns, and if you don't give them to them, they will take them away. That's what she supports. Now she says, "Oh, look at me, rat-tat-tat, girl. I'll cap your ass." All right. Are these word salads and platitudes, or are you nodding your head with these hens and these low T men in the audience? If you look at them all, they all look upper class and higher class folks. Do you believe Kamala is a gun owner who supports your gun rights, or do you think she'll take away your guns? And why do you think she hasn't had a press conference in 61 days? Isn't that amazing? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Are these word salads and platitudes, or are you nodding your head with the hens and the low T men in the audience too? I mean, maybe you are. Maybe you're like, oh, she speaks my language. Oh, my gosh. And do you believe Kamala is a gun owner who supports your gun rights, or will she take away your guns? I think she's just like the New York City COVID czar that just got caught on tape. We'll talk about it later. I'll play it for you. He had sex orgies and high on Molly, ecstasy and all that stuff, with hundreds of people rolling around on the ground with relations in an underground underneath a bank in Wall Street in the height of COVID. Well, he told everybody to stay home and get vaccinated. And I think Kamala's like that. She's one of those Dems. I'm not saying she does orgies, but I'll tell you what she's got. She wants to take away your gun. She will take away your gun, but she won't have her guns, girl. And she will cap your butt if you try to break into her house. Because rules for thee and not for me. And that is the kind of person she is. I heard a great thing today. Our numbers are wide open. Our line's wide open. Have I given out the number yet? Producer Gary, what's wrong with you? Why haven't you had me give the number out yet? It's clearly your fault. 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. 800-288-WBAP. 800-288-9227. Chime in right now. We got lots of time to pop you on right away. I think she would. I heard a great analysis today on Fox News. I forget which one it was during the Brett Baer show or Martha McCallum. Those are that and the five I listen to every day. But I heard something that was really good about that I'll share with you in a minute. I wanted to give you the what's her name? Peggy Noonan quotes from her writings today in the Wall Street Journal. This week she couldn't or wouldn't, talking about Kamala, this week she couldn't or wouldn't answer a single question, and people could see straight through it. She's an artless dodger. Words saying gibberish. Often when speaking of her personal biography, she seems authoritative. Otherwise, she is airy, evasive, and non-responsive. She isn't a candidate trying to be forthcoming and using her limited time in an attempt to be better understood. This is the sound of somebody running out the clock. Why does she dodge away from clarity? Why doesn't she take opportunities to deepen public understanding of her thinking? Here's some guesses. Because she's not that interested in policy, because she'll figure it out later. That's scary, isn't it? I'll figure out what my policies are later. Because she doesn't want you to understand where she stands. That's really scary, and that's what I believe, and many do. Or because at the bottom, because at bottom, she's a progressive as Joe Biden, and that will mean more of the same, so why talk about it? And that is exactly what it will be, but it'll be worse, because she's even more far leftist for 20, 30 years ever that Joe was, and she's going to be the next iteration, but further progressivism. Failing to speak plainly and deeply now about illegal immigration, Noonan says of Kamala, is political malpractice on a grand scale. She owes us these answers. It is wrong that she can't or won't address them. It is disrespectful to the electorate. So we go back to the choices that she presents. Trump versus Kamala. Awful, which is Trump, versus empty, which is Kamala. Listen to what she says, though. Again, that's why she's not a big Trump supporter at all. She's not. She's not a Trump supporter. But she's like, well, I guess. Awful is, well, awful, she says about Trump. But he was president for 4 years. We didn't all explode. Institutions held. The threatened Constitution maintained. So maybe that's their vote. Close your eyes and think of England. All right, I don't know what that means. Seriously, what does that mean? Close your eyes and think of England. Sometimes I'm like, I'm a Polak at heart. That's who I am. I'm a Polish boy. So sometimes we don't get it through our thick skulls. Anyway, I want to hear from you right now. I got more word salads from Kamala last night. And more assists from Oprah to try to make her look more like, accountable. Are these word salads and platitudes, or are you nodding your head with these hens and low-T men in the audience with Oprah too? Do you believe Kamala is a gun owner who supports your gun rights, or that she'll take away your guns? And why do you think she hasn't had a press conference in 61 days? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. More highlights from the Oprah Kamala Worship Fest, Word Salad Fest. Also, more details from the New York Post today that are also saying that Winfrey tried to help her as she was so evasive the whole time. All right, that is next and 2 minutes at 8:17 on the Chris Kroc Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, and now on FM at 93.3.
Hello, President Harris.
Not yet.
27 days, yes.
I've always been a fan of Kamala.
Everybody's so energized.
In this campaign to
beautiful, wonderful Kamala Harris.
Yes! Yes! I love you! More than the Beatles! Oh! Can I touch your dress? Can I touch your pantsuit? Can I kiss your shoe? Oh. That's our leader. Don't question her. Just worship her. And try not to pass out when you're near her. She is a goddess. Oh my gosh, Oprah, look under your chair. Oh my gosh, you get a free magazine. You look who's on the cover. Oh, it's me. Oh, and everybody here will get a free 3-month trial subscription. Ma'am, I'd like to ask before we talk to President Kamala. I would like to ask if you're ever going to allow Kamala to be on the cover of Oprah magazine. Well, we have the next year and a half booked up with me, but we can do an article somewhere in the magazine after my section, the first 60 pages or more. Oh, look, I'm on the cover again. Here's some of her word salad that I haven't played for you yet. I want to ask you some questions, as Dwayne would say, some questions. Are these word salads and platitudes, or are you nodding your head with the hens and the low T men in that audience too, and just saying, oh my gosh, you're such an amazing woman, rock star? Do you believe Kamala is a gun owner, as she says, who's going to put a cap in your butt if you break in her house? And so, do you believe she's a gun owner who supports your gun rights, or do you think she'll take away your guns? I told you about how she had a brief signed in 2008 that she said that a total handgun ban is constitutional. She strongly suggested that the Second Amendment does not secure an individual right. That's on my Twitter feed for you to see from Reason Magazine, if you'd like. And then why do you think she hasn't had a press conference in 61 days? I mean, look at her. She's in command. She's unbelievable. She's adorbs. 800-288-WBAP, lines wide open, 800-288-9227. Here's some more of the word salad.
We take pride in the privilege of being American. And this is a moment where we can and must come together as Americans, understanding we have so much more in common than what separates us. Let's come together with the character that we are so proud of about who we are, which is we are an optimistic people. We are an optimistic people. Americans, by character, are people who have dreams and ambitions and aspirations. We believe in what is possible. We believe in what can be. And we believe in fighting for that. That's how we came into being. Because the people before us understood that one of the greatest expressions for the love of our country, one of the greatest expressions of patriotism, is to fight for the ideals of who we are, which includes freedom to make decisions about your own body, freedom to be safe.
Wait a minute, Producer Garrett is nodding his head. He's one of the low T men who seems to be a Kamala supporter. Let's continue on. I apologize for interrupting the already commander-in-chief.
From gun violence, freedom to have access to the ballot box, freedom to be who you are and just be, to love who you love openly and with pride, freedom to just be.
Oh my gosh, that was an uninterrupted, like, I don't know, let me see the timing on that. That's like a 1.5 minute uninterrupted, like, what's a what? And then here is some more of her, let's see, word salad.
We really would love to know what your plan is to help lower the cost of living.
In terms of both.
That was one of her leftist hens who was nodding and smiling after the question was asked. What is your plan of the cost of living? What's the plan of the cost of living? What is your plan to have the cost of living?
lower the cost of living.
Living. I'm so wealthy. I looked at her kitchen. It looks nice.
In terms of both rightly...
I'm worried about my housekeeper, Edwardina. She is broke. She's broke, and I can't pay her more than the $30 an hour. What is your plan for the cost of living? All right, I'm sorry. I got to let the woman speak here and let her bury herself with her own words.
Cost of living.
In terms of both rightly having the right to have aspirations and dreams and ambitions for your family, and working hard and finding that the American dream is, for this generation and so many recently, far more elusive than it's been. And we need to deal with that. One is bringing down the cost of everyday necessities, including groceries.
Oh, I have some questions for her. I'll get to that in a moment. What do you think? Are you hearing a word salad here? Platitudes? Or are you hearing some solid, amazing hits? Oh, he's so deep. Oh! Also coming up next, we're going to get into this. DISD is now considering hiring rent-a-cops to comply with the state laws for securing campuses. Would you trust security guards to protect your child? Is that who you want protecting your child? That's coming up. Sorry. Oh, I have a cough. That's coming up next. 800-288-WBAP. I'm trying to be serious. 800-289-2227. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. News Talk 820 WBAP, and now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset, y'all. 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. My gosh, I'm having fun with you tonight. I keep, by the way, anything I've done in the past half hour or so, you can see. I do a live stream Facebook, where you can watch me and you see if I have that third eye or that something growing on my forehead there. You know, maybe it's true. Maybe I'm as ugly as I sound on the radio. I'd like you to find out yourself and take a look. You can see me right now. If you could see me smile. Here I am. You can go to Facebook. Go to at Chris Crock Show on Facebook, and that's how you can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Chris Crock Show. CHRISKROK. CHRISKROK. Everything I talk about, for the most part, is on that feed, including all the audio and such that you can share away. And then I also have a lot of good memes I've come across in my daily job. So. One North Texas school district considers private security option. This is from the from WFAA TV Channel 8. DISD is now considering hiring a whole bunch of rent-a-cops, security guards. And I don't want to be a negative on you if you're a security guard, but listen, as a parent, as a person, I don't want to put my life in the hands of a security guard. Because, look, that security guard is not a cop. I'm not trying to be mean either. I don't think security guard is a calling. I think that being a cop is a calling. I know that because when I was in between radio jobs years ago in Atlanta, I got to the last step before being hired as a police officer. And my friend, who is a longtime police officer, we became besties when I was in Minneapolis, St. Paul, at a radio station there before going to Atlanta. He said, Chris, it's a calling. Basically, he was like, are you sure you really want to do this? Because this is a serious thing, And it was a nice way of making me think, you know what? I don't want to offend him. He's right. And so I decided to hold off. And it was the right decision. But I was exploring and thinking, and but it's a calling. I have my father was a cop, and some of our folks in our family are cops and such, and I'm very proud of the heritage of my family, and I love our cops with all my heart. So they're very special to me, and there's always a coward in every bunch, and we found one in Uvalde with that former disgraced, now criminally charged chief of police for Uvalde ISD. He is a coward. He was a coward, though, before he even got the badge, and for the years he loved. I bet you he preened with that badge and got every benefit he could get, and everybody to kiss his rump that he could. But he was a coward. And the day came where he had to see who he was, and everybody found out he was a coward, and he knew who he was beforehand, but he was in denial. People like that are the most proudest of them all. So I don't trust anybody but a police officer, current or retired. And there's no way. I will share with you what the cost of just hiring the security guards in place of cops where they can't afford it because there's they have cops in DISD, and DISD, most of us don't live in DISD, but doesn't matter, all of our schools. So the questions I have for you are, do you trust security guards with your child's life? And what do you think are the best ways to make our schools safer? I happen to believe it's arming teachers. And wait till you hear a story I have from one of my colleagues downstairs. He's in the production side of the radio station. He took a tour of a school right next to Pantex. You know what Pantex is? That's where the nuclear bombs come every like 5 years or whatever they do. They have to recondition them. So they take all the triggers off. That's pretty scary. It's about a half mile underground or so. And it's in Amarillo. And they take it underground, they disassemble it and reassemble it and send it back. So nukes are coming in and out of there all the time. And there's a school right by there. You know what they do? I'll tell you in a second. But it has everything to do with arming the teachers. Hey, here's 3 questions. Do you trust security guards with your child's life? What do you think are the best ways to make our schools safer? And would you prefer a gun-free zone sign in front of your child's school or a "We Are Armed" sign in front of the school? 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. I don't want anything but either a peace officer or armed teacher. It is not feasible. I repeat, it is not financially feasible. I'm not trying to be rude to you, but anyone that suggests to have a cop on every campus, it's not feasible. It is only feasible for high schools and middle schools. There are roughly, in my estimation, actually I don't have an estimation. I'm just guessing here. But can you imagine how many elementary schools feed into one high school? How many elementary schools feed into one middle school? So there's I don't know, but the average middle school probably has 4 or 5 or 6. I don't know how many elementary schools feeding into it. It's not me making this up. I've seen the numbers. I've read the stories over the years. That's my job. And the numbers are outrageous. It is not feasible. There's one district here in North Texas. I can't remember which one it was, but it's a rich folk district. And this one lady was like, hey, we're going to hire cops. We're doing fundraising. And she's like, yeah, we can do it. And I would encourage others to do this and fund it on your own. But it was the numbers ran on that story that were done in the news story here in DFW. It was obscene and absurd. And if somebody that's wealthy can do that, that's fine. I don't have a problem. Don in Fort Worth, WBAP, hello.
Hi. I got a couple of comments. First of all, about the security guard thing.
Yes.
Some of the security guards are actually retired police officers. So, and they may have higher credentials than some of the current police officers.
Right.
So that's something to think of. Also,
I did say, by the way, though, that current or to retired would be fine with me. So if they also are a security guard, that's fine. But I don't trust security guards because I'm going to guess here that most of them are not retired cops.
Well, yeah. Well, there's more of them than you think. Anyway, in fact, some of the school districts, that's what they aim for is retired cops to work their security.
I would think everyone would, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, also, I used to work for a school district as a police officer, and my comment about teachers being armed, I think it's a bad idea because when the school calls in on an active shooter, you may get officers from 2 or 3 different departments that respond. Mm-hmm. And when they see this teacher in the hallway with a gun, they're not going to know he's a teacher. They're going to kill him because they're not going to know who he is. So it's a bad idea to have a teacher in the school with a gun.
That is speculative, and I strongly disagree from what I've seen on that. And do you have any hard evidence of that, like studies done on this?
No, but I can tell you that when I worked at a high school, we had an incident one day, and we had sheriff's department deputies show up. We had two other nearby cities officers show up, and even that state trooper showed up. And none of them know the teachers at that school.
Of course not. But
and if they had walked in and seen the teacher with a gun, what's going to happen?
Well, if they walk in and they see a teacher shooting innocent people, popping, what's going to happen is a good question. If they walk in and the teacher has the firearm down because the threat's done, let me ask you this. As a former police officer, you know that you cannot be there in time. You know there will be many deaths before you can even arrive and help. You know the shooting will be done 9.9 times out of 10 before you arrive. It just is what it is. 4 minutes is unbelievably quick. 8 minutes is the average. You know that. It is what it is. Yeah. They're going to all die. They're going to be dead, and you're going to come across a teacher who was armed with it holstered or put back in the gun safe that's on his desk if they have that, for example. That's what I believe. I mean, you look at the training they would get would be way more than I have as a concealed carry holder, and that's earlier on. I did it with like 4 hours training, and it wasn't enough. I think it was enough for me, but anyways, they have active shooter training. They are approved by the school district. They are obviously background checked. They get training. I think it's 40 hours of training, or I think it's 40 hours. Maybe it's more on active shooter and how to respond in this. So I trust them. Here's the big thing. Would you want your child to be protected with a teacher who's unarmed or armed?
I would like the school police officer to handle it and not a teacher.
They won't be there in time. Even the one we just had the one we just had in Georgia, there was at least one. I think there was 2 cops on the premises, but he shot 4 students and killed them before the cops were able to arrive on the school premises. If a teacher was in that room, I would have wanted that teacher to have been armed. And if it was my child, I'd want that teacher to be armed, because if the school's approved it and it's been trained, I know that guy. I'm sure you saw in Uvalde that one guy who was against firearms and all this kind of stuff, who spoke afterwards. He was trembling and in a horrified type voice as he was describing, because he was still traumatized. Remember that Hispanic gentleman that was the teacher who survived Uvalde? And I'll tell you what screamed at me when he talked. It was what he didn't say. And I'm going to tell you what, actually he doesn't need to say it. I don't care what he says. Here's what I would say. I would trust that man trembling in fear, because he loved those students. He would bleed for those students, and he actually did. And I would trust that man as much as he wants to take away our guns. I would trust that man with a gun, because that man wants to protect. He loves those kids.
Right. Okay, that's fair.
Thank you, Don, for your call. How many years did you serve, and which, if you don't mind, you don't have to tell me what department, which one was it?
Well, I'm retired from 2 different police departments, and then I worked at the Aledo ISD for a few years.
How many years were you in police for total?
Total 40 years.
Thank you. I really appreciate you. I really do, and I mean that with all my heart. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. I'm glad you're around, and I'm glad you still carry everywhere you can, right?
Oh, never leave home without it.
Thank you, God. You're the guy that we need everywhere. So get to work at a school now, sir. We need you cloned. All right? Take care. All right. Bye. God bless you. Okay, we're going to talk to Larry in Louisville right out of the box next, plus your call. We got 3 lines open, 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. How much will it cost for a full-time cop on campus, and how much does it cost, for example, this Dallas ISD just to have level 3 private security, which doesn't mean much to me. Again, it's a security guard, and I think most of them will tend to not want to run towards the threat like a cop would. I want teachers armed. Actually, and guess what? I'm going to tell you, Pantex, right next to where they disassemble and assemble nuclear weapons, what the school does there, it's unbelievable. It's incredible. I'm going to tell you, and it's a safe school, I'll tell you that. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset, y'all. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. If you have level 3 private security to meet the state requirements for armed security people at DISD, it'll be $14 million a year. One cop, one police officer, one sworn peace officer is roughly $80,000 for salary, benefits, plus training. TRS, quote, I don't know what that means, and then et cetera, et cetera. So it's not feasible. And even when there are cops, like in the one in Georgia that just happened, the guy shot and killed 4 people and wounded several others before the cops showed up, and he was on the same side of the campus, but he was probably on the wrong side, wrong area. So we must arm teachers. Pantex is an unbelievable nuclear facility. Well, somebody I know very closely has gone down there and stuff, worked with security in that realm. And one of my buddies, who's a school board member here in the Metroplex, they travel to schools every year to learn more. And they went to the elementary school right across the street, like right there where Pantex is, where they go underground with nuclear bombs, disassemble them, reassemble them, and send them back out to the field. And every teacher there is armed, or at least a lot of them are armed. And you see there's a little lockbox on every all the desks. Maybe not everyone, but a lot of them. And my friend sat in that room and saw the assistant principal. And why? Because imagine terrorists coming in and take over that school and say, we're going to murder these 300 kids if you don't get us one of those bombs. It's right across the street. Isn't that interesting? I'll bet you don't have any school shootings there. My buddy laughed. Nope. That's what I want. 2 lines open, 800-288-WBAP. Do you trust security guards with your child's life? What do you think are the best ways to make schools safer? And would you prefer a gun-free zone sign or in front of your child's school, or a "We Are Armed" sign? Let's go to Larry in Louisville, WBAP. Hello, Larry. Welcome.
Hey, Chris. Thanks for having me on, sir.
Welcome.
I just wanted to respond to that last caller about not wanting teachers armed. I'm head of my security team at a church that I go to in Parker, Texas.
Good.
Narrow Trail Cowboy Church. And I spoke to the local police, to figure out what we need to do, how we need to do it in case we have an issue. Mm-hmm. And my security team carries little yellow sashes in a little Velcro pouch on their side that, God forbid, we have an incident. We put those sashes on so the police can identify us and know we're not the threat.
There you go.
There you go. Yes, sir.
There you go. But there you go. And also, I'm sure you were told to holster your gun if you neutralize the threat.
I had asked that question, Chris. It's funny that you mentioned that. Should we put our weapons away? Should we, unload them and this, that, and the other? And every single chief of police said, no, holster it because you don't know if the threat is over.
That's it. Holster it. No way would I empty it out, though. I just holster it. Yeah. Great call. Grateful for you. Glad you're protecting your church. May God bless you. Let's go. We got one more? Okay, let's go to Donnie in Missouri. Donnie, WBAP. Hi.
Hey, Chris. Hey, I'm a school resource officer. I've been in law enforcement over 20 years.
Excellent.
I've been an SRO for 10 years, going on my 11th year. As far as that goes, I would appreciate the help from the teachers until I got across my campus. But on the flip side of that, my guys who show up, and gals, when they show up, then they're going to stop and check everybody along the way, and it's going to slow it down. So I can kind of see it both ways, but I would appreciate the help.
Yeah, I mean, you holster it and it's there. I mean, if you guys want to take it when you show up, whatever, I'll do what you tell me to do. I think most would. Thank you for your great call, and thanks for protecting us.
Hey, thanks, man.
God bless you. All right. We'll talk to Mike in Dallas next, plus your call. 4 lines open, 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. And then the former, now just retired San Diego Sector Border Patrol chief says terrorism numbers skyrocketed 3,000% under Joe and Kamala, and he was told he was muzzled, so he couldn't share this with us. He's retired. Unbelievable at Congress. I'll play it for you.